You know that feeling when a character's so overpowered, they break the entire Marvel universe? Yeah, meet Matthew Malloy. He didn't ask for power. He didn't want to be a mutant. He just existed. And that was enough to terrify the most powerful minds on Earth. Xavier hit him. Cyclops tried to save him. S.H.I.E.L.D. tried to kill him. And when all that failed, the universe rewrote itself to make sure Matthew Malloy never existed. This isn't just a story about a mutant with godlike power. It's about fear, failure, and the cost of control. So, if you thought Wanda was dangerous, if you thought Franklin Richards was Marvel's top-tier reality bender, buckle up, because Matthew Malloy isn't just powerful. He's too powerful to be allowed in reality itself. When Cerebro first picked up the signal, Charles Xavier assumed it was a glitch. I mean, mutant detection system malfunctions, right? Happens. Except this time, the signal was so massive, so off the scale ridiculous, Cerebro basically screamed, "There's a god in your backyard!" It wasn't Magneto, not Jean Grey, not even Franklin Richards, the kid who builds pocket universes between breakfast and lunch. No, it was a boy, a quiet kid named Matthew Malloy, playing with action figures on his lawn. But here's the twist. While his toys were duking it out, his brain casually erased his entire house. Not broke it, not blew it up, erased it from reality like it forgot to save. That's when Xavier, who's normally all about giving young mutants a chance, made a choice he'd never made before. No Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. No X-Men welcome party. He went full psychic ninja. Charles entered Matthew's mind disguised as a kid his age. For years, he pretended to be his imaginary friend, laughing, playing tag, building trust, while sneakily constructing psychic prison walls inside Matthew's mind. And no one knew. Not Cyclops, not Storm, not even the overly dramatic telepaths who usually sniff this stuff out in their sleep. To the world, Matthew Malloy was just a shy guy with bad luck. But to Xavier, he was a walking extinction event wearing sneakers. And the worst part? It worked until Xavier died. Then the mental lock started failing. Slowly, quietly, and the world's most dangerous mutant woke up with zero training, zero idea what was happening, and zero chill. Before we dive in, I'm building this channel from the ground up, so if you're into deep Marvel chaos like this, hit subscribe. Let's grow this thing together. Now, let's talk about what happens when the world's most dangerous mutant starts to wake up. With Xavier gone, the mental blocks holding Matthew together started to crack. At first, nothing seemed off. Matthew lived alone, kept to himself, the kind of guy who avoids eye contact and politely panics in public. But those blocks, they weren't just keeping his powers in check, they were holding back the trauma, the grief, the guilt, because deep down, some part of him remembered that things went wrong when he got emotional. Then came the visit. His sister-in-law, sweet, kind, and tragically unaware she was about to trigger a superpowered nuke, shows up at his door. She just wants to talk, offer some help, and that's when it happens. One panic attack later, and boom, 10-mile radius, gone, flattened like a deleted save file. His sister-in-law, the neighbors, the trees, the parking lot, pigeons, all gone. And Matthew, he's still standing there, horrified, because he doesn't know how it happened. He didn't mean to do anything. That's the most terrifying part. He's not angry. He's not lashing out. He's just scared of himself. That kind of power that reacts to your fear, your sadness, your stress, is a recipe for apocalypse with a human face. And it wasn't long before someone noticed, because when you casually delete a town from existence, S.H.I.E.L.D. picks up the phone real quick. And spoiler alert, they're about to make everything worse. After an entire town is wiped off the map, S.H.I.E.L.D. deploys, fast. Maria Hill arrives on site with agents, tech, psi-shields, everything short of the Avengers. What they find is Matthew Malloy, alive, alone, standing in the middle of a crater. He's not aggressive, he's not even moving, he's scared. Hill approaches carefully, asking questions. Her scanners are going haywire, energy levels off the scale. Matthew begs her to leave, says he doesn't know what he is, doesn't know how to stop it. Hill gives the signal. The team moves in, then silence. A pulse ripples outward. Every agent is gone. No fire, no blood. Just empty armor and a blackened field. The equipment fries. Drones crash. Comms cut out. Hill is one of the few left standing. And now she knows this isn't a mutant who needs containment. This is something else entirely. So she escalates. She brings in Exodus, an Omega-level telepath with centuries of psychic warfare behind him. Alongside him, Headlock, a mutant who specializes in illusions and mental tricks. Together, they enter Matthew's mind. Seconds later, both drop to the ground. Their brains are gone before their bodies hit. That's when Hill calls the X-Men. At the Jean Grey School, the X-Men gather, not to fight, not to save the world, but to hear Charles Xavier's final words. Jennifer Walters, better known as She-Hulk, arrives with the will. As his attorney, she's carrying more than legal documents. She's carrying secrets, and one of them is Matthew Malloy. Xavier never told anyone about him. Not Cyclops, not Storm, not even Jean. He kept Matthew's existence locked away, along with the psychic prison he built in the boy's mind. The will reveals everything: the hidden cerebro readings, the psychic infiltration, the mental blocks, the fact that Xavier spent years inside Matthew's head, pretending to be his imaginary friend, all to keep the world safe. The room splits. Wolverine is furious, not at the danger, but at the deception. Rachel Gray, a telepath herself, is stunned Xavier would cross that line. But it's Cyclops who takes it the hardest. To him, Xavier was more than a mentor. He was the dream, a future where mutants and humans could coexist. Now he's learning that same man secretly mind-wiped a child to protect the world from a threat no one else got to vote on. He imprisoned a mutant for being too powerful, Cyclops says. That's not protection, that's fear. But the will is clear. Xavier's last request? Locate Matthew Malloy and watch him. Not to kill him, not to train him, just watch. And be ready. Cyclops doesn't agree with the mission, but he takes it anyway, because he knows this isn't about trust, it's about responsibility. And whatever Matthew Malloy is, he's not finished yet. Cyclops finds Matthew in the ruins of what used to be a city. No X-Men team, no backup. Just Scott Summers and the most unstable mutant in history. And he doesn't come in blasting, he comes to talk. Matthew doesn't understand what he is. He only knows things break when he gets scared. People disappear. Reality bends. Cyclops listens. Then he does something no one's tried. He opens his mind. He shows Matthew the day his own powers activated, how his optic blast turned a normal childhood into a permanent crisis. The pain, the guilt, the fear of never being in control again. Matthew sees it, feels it, and for a moment, just a moment, he's not alone. Cyclops tells him, "You're not a weapon, you're not a freak, you're just someone who needs help." It could have worked, it almost worked. But then, the sky cracks open. A shield strike team has been tracking Matthew's location. They don't care about diplomacy. They fire everything. Missiles rain down. There's no time to react. Not for Matthew, not for Cyclops, not for Ilyana Rasputin, also known as Magic, who had quietly teleported in to back up Scott. The entire area is incinerated, and when the smoke clears, the ground is scorched and lifeless. All three are gone. But death doesn't stick. Not for Matthew, his body reforms, his mind cracks further. And now, the only two mutants who tried to help him are dead. The last shreds of hope burn with them. Matthew Malloy walks alone. Cyclops and Magic are gone, and he still doesn't know how or why, but he remembers one thing. Cyclops said the X-Men could help, so he goes to find them. He arrives at the Jean Grey School, broken, exhausted, begging for someone to understand. But the X-Men don't see a man in pain. They see the one responsible for Scott Summers' death. Emma Frost is the first to lash out. She's grieving, angry, and out for blood. Matthew backs away. He doesn't want to fight, but his powers don't care what he wants. As Emma attacks, he flinches, and she's gone. Not injured, not knocked out. Gone. The others react immediately. Storm, Iceman, Beast, they strike at once, and in that split second, instinct takes over. Matthew releases another wave of raw power. Not aimed, not controlled, just survival. The entire squad is wiped out. He just stands there and realizes he's finally become the monster everyone was afraid of. And worst of all, he never meant to. There's no plan left. The X-Men are gone. Cyclops is dead, and Matthew Malloy, terrified, grieving, barely holding himself together, just keeps getting stronger. One mutant is left, Eva Bell, codenamed Tempest, a young time manipulator from Cyclops' new Xavier school. She doesn't fight, she runs straight into the past. Using her ability to create temporal bubbles, Eva travels back to a time before all of this began. Before the will, before the psychic blocks, before Matthew Malloy was ever a threat. She finds a younger Charles Xavier and tells him everything. What Matthew becomes, what he did, what Xavier tried, and how it all failed. Xavier listens, and this time, he doesn't build psychic walls. He makes sure the threat never exists at all. Charles Xavier doesn't hesitate. He travels to a single moment, the day Matthew Malloy's parents first met. With a gentle nudge of telepathy, he alters fate. They never speak, never connect, never fall in love. And just like that, Matthew Malloy is never born. No psychic blocks, no mutant outbursts, no deaths, no war. The world snaps back into place like it always was, but cleaner, calmer, unaware. Cyclops is alive. Magic is alive. The Jean Grey School is standing. The X-Men go on with their lives, never realizing what almost happened. Only Ava remembers. One girl holding the memory of a man who could have broken the world and never meant to. There's no statue, no grave, no history, just silence where a name used to be. So, what did we learn today? 1. Never ignore Cerebro when it starts freaking out. 2. If someone shows up claiming to be your best friend but only exists in your mind, maybe ask a few questions. And 3. Matthew Malloy may have been erased from existence, but you still exist, which means you can smash that like button before this timeline collapses too. If you love deep Marvel stories, overpowered mutants, and telepaths who fix problems by making them disappear, hit subscribe and stick around. We've got more insane Marvel stories coming your way. And hey, drop a comment below. Was Xavier saving the world or crossing a line no one should ever touch? Thanks for watching. Stay out of multiversal trouble, and I'll see you in the next one.